Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, Tyler Robinson, is set to appear in court today as his lawyers are looking to disqualify the entire prosecuting team. They say the prosecution's decisions include the choice to seek the death penalty. They could be emotionally driven because an attorney's child, one of the prosecutor's children, witnessed Charlie Kirk's assassination or was there at the university. The Utah County Attorney's Office is pushing back, saying, quote, the attorney has no personal conflict of interest because his child is neither a material witness nor a victim in this case. In fact, nearly everything the child knows about the actual homicide is hearsay. Criminal defense attorney and Fox News contributor Donna Rotuno is outside of the courthouse and joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Donna.
Good morning,
Good
Ainsley.
morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Let me read you the text exchange between the prosecutor who was trying to convict Tyler and his 18-year-old child who was there when Charlie was assassinated. The prosecutor's child writes the father, someone got shot. I'm okay. Everyone's going inside. Charlie got shot. The prosecutor says, oh my gosh, child. People say he was shot in the neck and his head like tilted or something. Prosecutor, what the heck? The child says, insane. He had answered one question and was talking to the next person. So according to this text message, the child actually didn't see it, but was there. And they're trying to say that the prosecution, the whole team needs to be removed because of this child and her father or his father. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl. And now they're seeking the death penalty. Everything's built on emotion. But we're talking about the prosecutor. This is not the defense. The prosecutor is trying to convict Tyler. What do you say? What will the judge, how will the judge rule?
Correct, Ainsley. First of all, in looking at those messages, there's nothing in those messages at all that suggests that the relationship between the prosecutor and the child have influenced this in any way, shape, or form. So that's number one. Does the defense think that this case wasn't going to be prosecuted without this relationship? It is a ridiculous assertion. I do believe that this motion will be denied. I'm actually surprised that the judge is allowing any type of hearing on it at all. I think this is one of those motions that is taking it a step too far. I am all for defense being creative. I am all for the defense zealously representing their client. But in this situation, I think this is just pushing it. I do not like this motion. I think it is a waste of time. I think it is a waste of the court's time. I think it's a waste of taxpayer money. And as a lawyer who's in these courtrooms every day, this is not one that I would file. And in terms of saying that the emotion of this is the reason that they're asking for the death penalty, that is also a ridiculous assertion. This is a state that allows for the death penalty. And if you allow for the death penalty, what other case is more appropriate than this one? This was a horrific murder in front of thousands of people, many witnesses who were there, not just the son or daughter of the prosecutor. So to me, this is just taking it a step way too far, and I do not believe it will be successful for the defense.
Yeah, Donna, Tyler's lover, I think they live together, Lance Twiggs, a family member from Lance's family has been speaking out to the media and says that Lance is no longer, or the family, under FBI protection. What does that tell you about the case?
I don't really think it says much about the case. I think that they must have felt that the immediate threats to this person are no longer existing. And I also think that it's showing that this person is cooperating. So if he's cooperating, if he's willing to talk to law enforcement, there's really no reason to keep him under lock and key, for lack of a better term. So I think he's working with them. I think that they know where he is. I don't think that they think he's going to flee or leave the jurisdiction in any way. So it would seem to me that suggests that he is cooperating. It does not suggest in any way that they had no other reason to keep him.
Will there be cameras in the courtroom today?
Well, that's a good question. So it looks like there was originally going to be, but now I believe that there's going to be arguments this morning as to not allowing cameras in the courtroom. The defense, it looks like, is seeking for that not to happen. I know there's going to be some arguing about that. I hope that there are. This should be an open proceeding. There is no reason to close out the public. I mean, this is the courtroom should be open. This is America. That's how it works. The judge has been pretty good up to this point about allowing cameras in the courtroom, so we'll see what he does today.
Okay, thank you so much, Donna. I know you'll be covering it all day. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.